Hi, I just thought I'd do another video to have a little chat with you. It's a cold windy day here in the UK today. It's sunny though, so that's nice. I might get out a bit later on and do a bit of gardening, cut back a few hellebore dead leaves and things, and so that I can see the flowers better, because all the new leaves are coming up from the ground now, and it looks much nicer and tidier. This is what my sister tells me, and I've started doing it and it looks so much better. So yeah, so it's good to get outside in the garden. I was watching a video the other day of Charlie Ward. I don't know if any of you seen Charlie Ward, but he's brilliant. I've been following him since last March, and I found him really inspiring because I've been going through a lot of rabbit holes and researching lots of things for 4 years, and it was so refreshing to hear somebody come along and discuss all the things that I'd been following, and it's like, my goodness me, somebody here who was actually speaking the same language as me, so it's fantastic. But on his channel he has a web page, charlieward.com, and in fact it's drcharlieward.com, but he has said really early on, I'm not a doctor, you know. When I had to send off for my driving licence, I just ticked a doctor instead of Mr. by mistake, and when my driving licence came back it said doctor on it, so I thought, oh well, that's alright then, I'm a doctor now. Didn't really think much about it when you're younger, you know. He has done a psychology degree as well, so now I suppose he can get away with being a doctor, can't he? But anyway, so he's quite happy about it. I mean, if I wanted to call myself another name, I could call myself Tutu, couldn't I? You know, let's face it, in this day and age, you can call yourself anything these days, can't you? Apparently. But anyway, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. But one point that they did bring up was, I think Lee brought it up on one of his videos on Charlie's channel, about getting out in the sunshine and getting plenty of vitamin D from the sunshine, which is really good for fighting this virus that is out there. And so the main thing to get a really good immune system is to get out in the sun as much as you can, even if it's cold. Get a coat on like I do. And, you know, I do feel the cold, but I do get outside, try and get some exercise every day, and also drink vitamin C and get plenty of multivitamins in you. Now, it's really funny because we should have been told this all of last year. We should have all been told that we should be having vitamin D and supplements and getting out in the sunshine and eating good fresh vegetables and everything. But have we been told this? No. And this is a trouble. If we don't get told these things, we don't do it, because we're so used to being preached at by the governments, telling us to do this and doing that. And it's funny, somebody else said a while back, it's funny, but politicians used to be very disregarded. You know, not so long ago, people used to say, well, they're talking rubbish, and now everybody jumps to their win. It's just ridiculous. I mean, I don't know why people give away their sovereignty. You know, we all need common sense. Have you got common sense, or have you given it away? Do you not apply it? Are you working that flipping hard, day in, day out, going to work, coming home and just thinking, oh, let's just have a flipping bottle of wine or a few pints, you know, just to block everything out? This is a way we're being manipulated, because you're able to they can manipulate you. You're dumbed down, basically, absolutely dumbed down. I've touched on this subject before, but do you know, last year, I'm going to tell you now, I had a really weird dream last year. I've never had a dream like it. Now, for a start off, last February, I think it was, I was watching a video with Dr. Steve Turley. Now, he is a very prominent tutor and everything. He's a brilliant guy, and he addresses all sorts of problems around the world, you know, to do with all the politics of countries and things. And he was doing his normal 10-minute show, and he says, I've just got to share this video with you. And somebody had sent it to him, and it was a video that had leaked out of China from Wuhan, and it was a doctor who was crying, and he was saying that lots of nurses were all just dropping dead, and lots of people in the street were just dropping dead. And I think that's something to do with the 5G, because I think they were testing 5G and things at the time. But you have to research these things. If you want to know about 5G and the effects on it, on your health, you have to research it. I've researched it, and you need to research it to find out for yourself, because there's no point in me telling you about things if you don't. You have to believe it for yourself. That's how I find. I don't take any notice of people much, and if I read something or hear something, I research it to make sure and get it right in my mind and use my common sense and discernment, and that's what I do. But anyway, this was a terrible, terrible video. I knew this guy was screaming anyway. After that, they stopped a lot of the things coming out of China. But what had happened, I had this dream, a really, really funny dream. I've never, ever had it before like this. I just sort of, in the middle of the night, I was just asleep, and I had this voice talking to me in my head, really strong. It was around March time, or March or April. And this voice was very loud. This is what was so strange about it. It was so loud that it was as if the person was in the room next to me, just sat next to me, talking into my ear. It was that loud, saying that the virus, the COVID virus, had been tested. It had come from China, and it had been made for 20 years, and it originated in cats and dogs, right? And I can't remember exactly what it said, but it also said that Europe was the target, right? And I had to keep stopping the voice in my dream and saying, just repeat that again. This is how it was so weird. I'd said, so let me just get this right. You're telling me this. And I thought, oh my goodness, this was started 20 years ago. And I thought, I didn't really do anything with it. I told my sister about it, and I told my husband about it, and told him verbatim what it had said, because quite often with dreams, you know, it's hard to remember dreams, isn't it? But this one was such clarity, but it was so loud in my head. I'm like, my goodness, what the heck is it? And I didn't say anything to anybody, or, you know, share it anywhere. And the only reason now is because I just feel compelled that I should share it with you. But because there's so much information come out now, in the, you know, if you're looking, there's a lot of information out there. And just a couple of months ago, I saw a Facebook post of a lady who shared a load of declassed documents, and all of these declassed documents were all about the different coronavirus, this virus. And this virus, there was a patent for it every year going back 20 years to 2001 and 2. And it had been, and all of she showed every page on this video and who it was, the patent number and everything, so you could actually go and look it up yourself. And there in that page, they'd actually started taking this virus from animals 2 years prior, and they patented it because they altered it slightly each year, because it's being used as a bioweapon. I hate to tell everybody this, but it is a bioweapon. And that just confirmed it to me. I thought, oh my God, I should have said something about it well before now. But you know, you don't want to scare people, but it's a time we actually wake up to the truth to what is actually going on. I mean, there is an overall plan to try and there is a plan to try and depopulate the planet. Right, and we know there's some major players doing it. There are major players doing it, and you can look at who has patented these vaccines, and they're all the usual suspects. You know, I'm not going to name them, but you know, the heads of the CDCs and the WHO and all that. But it's really, really terrifying to hear. But I do know that there's the Alliance, which is You see, what we're dealing with here is the deep state. The deep state that people have referred to for years and years and years. And they think, oh, what on earth is a deep state? It's conspiracy theory. Well, for a start off, do some research, pay attention, and look it up. And I'll tell you again, if you want to look anything up, go on DuckDuckGo, because that is not censored or it's not full of lies. You get the truth on DuckDuckGo. So it's a good search engine. Search it, because there's so many things that have been censored over time. There's so many Facebook, YouTube videos that have been telling you about the truth about everything for so long. They've all been taken off YouTube, so you can't find out the truth now. I've done so much research. I trust my discernment. You know, it's a bit like when you're a child, or when you're learning any new thing, and you learn something and you think, right, okay, well, that didn't work, so now I know. So if you go to, you've got to learn about a subject, and you've got to learn a good lesson from it. You come away with the knowing what the lesson is, right? Don't do that, or don't take this, or don't have that. You know, don't put your hand in scalding water because it'll burn you, you know. And you just know that, but you don't know all the physics of it, do you? You don't have to know exactly every bit of information about it. So you just learn a lesson, you know instinctively not to do that. And so I know a lot of people have already been taking this blinking preparation that is not good for you at all. You should be building up your own immune system, because it's a possibility that we're going to have more of this even later in the year. And I do worry about the people who've already had the bloody jabs, but what can I do? All you can do is pray. Just pray. Everybody pray, and just, you know, what I would recommend to anybody is just say, you know, cast it out of your body. You're not accepting it in your body, and go within your inside and cast it out. But that's what I'd do anyway, and just say to you, I'm fine, I'm going to be all right, and you will be all right, okay? But you've just got to believe you're going to be all right. If you go around being terrified and scared, you're weakening yourself, you're weakening your immune system, I believe. So just start having faith in your body, because your body has carried you all these years. Nobody else, your body doesn't belong to anybody, it belongs to you, and you're responsible to look after it, okay? But this dream, getting back to this dream, I think it's really weird, because looking at spirituality, we don't understand spirituality. It's been a subject that has been kept away from us. It's sort of as a terrifying subject. But what we have had is demons. We've had vampires. We've had all these things that terrify us, so that when you do think about spiritualism, which is actually a natural ascension process, but when you do think about it, you scare yourself about demons and ghouls and vampires and everything, so you don't look at it. But if you think about it, a century or so ago, you had people healing people with natural plants and herbs. But do we do that now? No, we don't do that, do we? What we do is we go to the pharmacist and buy a product that's copying the natural herbs and plants that actually make us better. But we don't really realise that, do we? Because they've sort of pushed all the homeopathy in the background, and they don't recognise it as treatment. Well, stuff that. It is treatment. I mean, you can get CBD oil now. They've made that legal. You can actually get CBD oil, because it doesn't actually have any bad effects on you. It's actually brilliant for your body. It corrects loads of illnesses. So if you're suffering with any illnesses, look into CBD oil. There's an Irish company that's growing it at the moment, that's been growing it for a few years now, and it's really good it can help with ailments. You know the stuff that you can get on your tongue, and you put it on if you're getting stressed, it can calm you down. It's the same type of thing. But apparently it's absolutely brilliant for you, and it's really good for your immunity as well, I'm pretty certain of it. So I just want to encourage people to do more research into things. But this idea of this dream was really quite worried, and I think if you think about radio waves that we can't see on the airwaves, I think it's something to do with voices that exist on the airwaves, really, and are all around us. You know, we can't see all the Bluetooth things going around us, but those messages still come to our phones, don't they? Because it's all magnetic electricity and all that sort of helps it. I don't understand all about it, but I know the general gist of it. But there's so much going on in the world that we just don't realise is happening because we're so wrapped up in ourselves. And that's another thing. I think we need to actually become more and more spiritual and actually go inside ourselves and let go of this ego that drives us. I have to have this, I have to do that, I'm great, look at me, I've got that to do, you know, oh, I've got this, what have you got? We have to get rid of that, because it's not in accordance with nature, it's not in accordance with who we are, you know. And animals, they don't do this, do they? They just be themselves, and we should just be ourselves. And this is what leads to living in the egotistic self, leads to wanting and feeling there must be something else, there must be. And when you're stuck in that cycle, which most of us are and have been, it causes all sorts of problems. And it's only when you get older, or when you come to a life-changing thing like I have done, that you start to realise what is important, and you actually touch base with spirituality, you know. And then you find your peace and your inner peace, and you love every day and just being, you know, just be. So, I mean, I've been on a fantastic path so far. You know, I'm really happy, but I think we all really need to consider protecting the children. You know, the most dominant thing at the moment is to make sure you're protecting your children and do not have them having these blinking things up the nose. Because these things up the nose, I've seen videos where people are showing that they've got this, oh God, what is it called? Some chemical that they use to clean the bud, that supposedly cleans the bud on the end of it. Something, ethylene oxide, that's what it is, ethylene oxide. And everybody will say, well, yeah, well, that's just natural because, you know, we use that as a cleaning agent. Well, no, because putting it up your nose is going into your membrane. And all you have to do is research cancer ethylene oxide. Research it. Do you want to take the chance of having ethylene oxide mixing with the DNA up in your nostrils and going up into your brain and causing brain cancer and lymphoma and other cancers? Look it up. It's on there on the website. It's on the cancer research website, or one of those cancer websites. So look it up. You do not put that up your child's nose. You do not allow anybody to put it up their nose. You look at symptoms, like we did in the old days, you know, what doctors did. You just looked at symptoms. And now, you know, the doctor's practice really is practicing on us now, isn't it? We're all being bloody guinea pigs, and I ain't going to be a guinea pig, and I'm not going. I mean, they're wanting me to go back to the hospital, and you know, I'd have to have a blood test. I don't want to go, and I'm not having any jabs, and I'm not having any tests, because I'm responsible for myself. I'm standing in my own right. You know, I'm not going to be meddled about with unless it's absolutely necessary. I'm not. Why would you? It's common sense. Look at all the people that are blooming dying. How many people this year, just in Britain alone, have, you know, not been treated for cancers? Millions, 3 million, something like that. How many children have gone missing, you know, this year and last year? How many children have gone missing? Thousands. We're not talking about 5,000 or 10,000. We're talking about thousands of children, you know. What's happening to all those children? Nobody asks about that because we're all that bothered about staying in and keeping our mask on and bloody taking, just panicking and driving ourselves into the ground and not actually thinking about what is actually going on. I'm ranting now. Well, get some blooming perspective. Look at all the people that are dying. Even when you've had these blooming things, that if you have a complication and maybe have a heart attack or something, or you've had it and then they'll just say, oh, it was COVID, But what brought it on? You have to research, and you can go on Gov UK and find out loads of statistics if you actually just researched it, instead of just relying on the news and the media, which bloody lies to us constantly. They don't tell us the truth. Anyway. I don't know what people think about my dream. I just think I was given the information. And to see that these things have been patented. And for your information, just because they were made in China doesn't mean to say it was the Chinese people doing it against it, because it wasn't. These trials were actually funded by American people. These big universities, these blinking deep state universities, these deep state people who were trying to depopulate us down to 800 million people on the planet, when there's 7 billion or 8 billion of us. They want to depopulate us. When it's happening, people, well, it isn't actually, because the Alliance is taking them all out. We haven't been hearing all about that, and I cannot wait until it all comes on the blinking news and you start to see the reality. A lot of the children that have been rescued so far, they've actually made a film. There's been a film made about it, and it's going to be shown later in the year. And Jim Caviezel is the star of the show. Now, he did Jesus Christ. I think, a couple of years ago. He played Jesus Christ. It was brilliant. I can't remember what the film was. Anyway, but he played Jesus Christ a couple of years ago, and he's playing the part of the guy who was being responsible for rescuing all the children underground, because there's loads of underground bases, 1,400 underground bases worldwide, where children have been locked up, trafficked, tested, abducted firstly, tested, experimented on, in terrible, terrible circumstances. And this guy, if you try and find on DuckDuckGo, Operation Underground, Railroad, I think it is, Operation Railroad Underground, you'll find it. Or you can go on drcharlieward.com and you can find all of his videos, and he's talking about all these things. He's got a lot of information out there for you to find. You can also go on Pryme Minister, which is Prym Minister.com. He's just starting up his new web channel because he's been doing a lot of Facebook things, and not Facebook, YouTube, and YouTube have been taking him off. So you can find him, but there's loads of people who are putting the truth out there, but you just have to know where to look if you're really interested and you actually want to find out what is going on. I truly believe that every one of the deep state is going to be has gone down, because they have said that they've taken out all the evil. There is still evil going on, and they are fighting, and in the last throes of fighting, but a lot of the evil has been taken out. About 3 weeks ago, they went to rescue some more children under the White House. There's big tunnels under the White House going for quite a long way. And the baddies, the back deep state that was in there, suicided themselves under the tunnels, and they blew up 200 of the military guys who was in there to occupy it and to save the children and to take them prisoner. But they got killed as well. I don't think that's been on the media though, has it? No. But unfortunately, we're mainly in a massive digital war because you don't find out about it. It's a big war. It's like a third world war, in my opinion, and we're not finding out about it. And this biological warfare that is on us is part of it. You know, I mean, as well as all the chemtrails, all the stuff they've been spraying in the air on us for years. This is why our soil's not very good these days. You know, somebody had also, I heard on the video this morning, saying, oh, you know, it's really good if it's organic, haven't got any pesticides or anything, because we've poisoned all our soils over the last blinking decades, haven't we? In the olden days, we didn't have to go to the shop and buy organic vegetables, did we? Because everything was organic, because it wasn't pestified and sprayed. We have to stop messing around with our blinking planet and our land and get a grip. Is it just me who sees all this? It seems to be just me. Is there anybody else out there who actually blinking pays attention? Well, actually, I know there's a lot of people who pay attention to all this, and there's a lot being done about it. It's quite exciting, really. But I wish you'd all just wake up. And if you have woken up, fantastic. I'm really pleased. I know quite a few people who are awake, but there's a few people who are just blinking so apathetic it's unreal. Anyway, love to all of you. And do some research. For God's sake, do some research.